Hey everyone, it's Sean, the What's Up Dude. We're here in Springfield, Illinois, and this is the Military State Museum. Check it out behind me. There's a couple tanks and a helicopter. We're going to go inside the museum, check it out, and remember our patriots who fought for us and our country. This is Sean, the What's Up Dude. Our next Springfield adventure brings us Military Museum, and here we already see some tanks and a helicopter. The Illinois State Military Museum, established 1878. Here is a monument to our fallen soldiers, to the fallen Illinois National Guard members. Operation Enduring Freedoms, 7th October 2001 to December 31st of 2014. Operation Iraq Freedom, March 2003, December 2011. It is for us the living, rather, to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they who had fought here have this far so nobly advanced. It is rather for us to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead we take increased devotion to the cause for which they gave the last full measure of devotion, that we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people, should not perish from the earth. That was from President Abraham Lincoln. Originally dedicated May 22nd of 2010. This is the museum building. We're going to go ahead inside, check it out. 1946 to 1910, they used these, which is the regular infantry swords. They would carry these on them for defense and also to attack their enemy. This is the original Confederate flag, captured flag known as Stars and Bars, made up of 13 stars representing the 11 states that formerly seceded from the Union. This is a picture of the Andersonville prison in Camp Sumter, Georgia, as it appeared August 1st, 1864. 35,000 prisoners of war were held here. A couple items here from the Civil War, a relic of wood post from the dead line at Andersonville Prison in Georgia, 2-pronged serving forks with an antler or bone handle, wooden gavel made of wood, board from Andersonville prison stocks, hand carved while in Andersonville prison. On the wall behind, it displays the military prison which I showed you earlier. Right here, we have the Spanish-American War, 1st Infantry Regiment, Illinois National Guard. And here's some of the medals and items. This is the Santiago de Cuba, July 9th to August 26th, 1898. And this is the 1st Regiment of the Illinois Military. This is the Ladies' Aid Society, and it has a stationary kit to write letters home, straw bonnets with lace and ribbon, small reading material to entertain soldiers and themselves, family photos they carry, day dress with shawl, brooch, Kodak ribbon, and boots that would be worn at least a week before being laundered. This is the Mexican Border Campaign. This is wood ammo box with canvas belt, an MG-08 Maxim water cooler machine gun made by German government arsenal, Badeau, Germany. Photo of troop from 1st Infantry ING shooting the MG-08 Maxim at Camp Wilson, Texas. It's the Mexican Border Campaign, and this is the cartridges of ammo and the Lewis machine gun made by Savage Arms of Utica, New York. A reminder from Uncle Sam, I want you to keep your hands off the displays. We have several figures from different eras of wartime. Illinois campaign of 1778 to 1789. We have the Mexican War, 1846 to 1847. Civil War, 1861 to 1865. Then we have the Spanish-American War, 1898. World War I, 1914 to 1918. Then you had World War II, 1939 to 1945. Then you had the Korean War, 1950 to 1953. Vietnam, 1955 to 1973. Late Cold Wars, 1980s. Desert Storm, Desert Shield, 1990 to 91. The Global War on Terrorism, 2001 to 2021. Tread on Me, the Gadsden flag of 1776. One of the most popular symbols of the new country, the uniquely American rattlesnake appeared on various flags and literature with and without the warning to respect the determination of the American people to win the war. And this is Sherman's March to the Sea travel gear. And this is some of the items that they would carry with them, a backpack and some military grade cooking. And they also had journals to write down what their experiences were. And this is the Sherman's March to the Sea. This is what it would look like as they were marching out to battle. The donation bin to help the museum continue its legacy to remember our fallen heroes. Prince of the Heartland, the Illinois National Guard traces its roots back to the early territorial militia of the 1700s, when settlers banded together out of necessity to protect their families, farms, and neighbors from threat of attack by Indians and foreign armies. This is War of 1812 that lasted till 1814. This is the uniforms they would wear and their weaponry and equipment that they had. Guy is an old fart from the German War. Right here we have a portrait painting of Abraham Lincoln in battle. Abe's hat hunt. Can you find Abraham Lincoln's hat? Captain Lincoln, Illinois militiaman. Here he is. And here's some of the stuff he would carry. Black Hawk War, 1832. Early French settlers emigrating American pioneers in Illinois met hostility from Indians, who had long enjoyed the region because of its rich farmland and abundant wild game. So back then, there was a war for territory. And this is the Fort Dearborn. This is a recreation of what it looked like. This is the helmets and full dress armor of the Mexican-American War, 1846 to 1848. War was declared on Mexico. Gearson's cavalry raid. We have some items from this time period. Colonel Benjamin H. Gearson, a former music teacher from Jacksonville, Illinois, set out with approximately 1,700 officers and men on a raid to the length of Mississippi. He commanded consisted of the 6th and 7th Illinois Cavalry Regiments and the 2nd Iowa Cavalry Regiment as well. This is the 12-pounder mountain howitzer, and they would use this, a mobile and lightweight piece designed for rough terrain, and they used this in the Civil War when our two sides separated and we fought for the freedom of those who are still here. We wanted to make sure that everyone had equality, no matter what race or color or creed you were. Here's some items here from Civil War, some of the weaponry, picture of a rider on a horse. Here's some of the weapons. This was Union weapons of the Civil War. This is the 1st Sergeant, 29th United States colored infantry. And this is from the Civil War, 1861 to 1865. And right here, this is the tree trunk. Tells of casualties at the Battle of Chickamauga. 114th Illinois Regiment's infantry flag. Here's some of the weapons. This is the rifle, and then we have an inscription on Lincoln target board. Here's a painting of Lincoln practicing his shooting. And here is the Major General John A. Blackjack Logan, statesman and citizen soldier. Here's some of his artifacts. And we have a shield. Kind of looks like Captain America almost. And this is the notorious Confederate flag. Now, it still exists for historical reasons, and you can still view it in the museums. Not that they support that side, but it is an artifact of history. This is the model 1883 Gatling gun, and this was used by Richard Jordan Gatling. Watched as hundreds of Union soldiers marched through Indianapolis on their way to battle. He observed a never-ending stream of wounded men moving in the opposite direction. And so he invented this Gatling gun in 1861, the most famous weapon of the 19th century. Spanish-American War. And we have some of the weapons. And this is the Mexican Border Service of 1916. Some more artifacts from that war. This is the Mexican Border Campaign of 1916. One of the soldiers and what they would wear. General Milton J. Foreman, commanding 33rd Division. Medal of Honor, Johannes S. Anderson. He had several awards for his service. World War I changed things because now you had trench warfare. Much of the time spent by the soldiers of the 33rd, they were in muddy trenches, dug by hand. Trenches were reinforced using available materials, such as sandbag, trees, boards, sheet metal, and barbed wire. And it changed the way war was done. Life on the Western Front. War I, this is the uniform that was worn. 370th Infantry. American and German trenches scenes. The three soldiers on the right are the 131st Infantry Regiment, and they would wear gas masks, and they would be on the field with bolt-action rifles to protect themselves. Here are some of the items that were worn, some of the German artifacts. Here's some models of the planes that were used. Imperial Japanese military items. Japanese soldier. Illinois National Guard in World War II. This exhibit honors the service of all Illinoisans who proudly served during World War II. Here's some of the more modern weaponry that has advanced over time. Here we started introducing motorcycles. This is the Indian motorcycle, 1942 model, 841. And so this is some of the military members. This is the 84th Infantry Division and the Illinois National Guard. And more weaponry on the wall here for World War II. More artifacts here. This is from the Korean War. The 126th Bombardment Wing Division. So this is when there was much more aircrafts in the sky. model of his plane. The Vietnam War, what they wore. Uniform worn by SPC-5 Butch Lights. He had an M16 rifle and an M79 grenade launcher and an M56 style weapon. And this is from the Korean War, a couple of the flags. And then this equipment here is from the Cold War. And we had to wear gas masks because it was a very chemical warfare type attack. And then getting into the Vietnam War here, some of the artifacts. And then earlier days where we hit the 90s, this is the Gulf War. 1990 to 91, this is a Gulf War soldier. Gulf War captured Iraq items. Some of the fighter aircrafts that were flown by the National Guard. This is the Air Force, some of the helmets they would wear. The patches that the Air Force officers would wear. And then Global War on Terrorism. This is one of the officers here. Sergeant Kennedy. This windshield was part of the armored Humvee that was involved in a firefight in Iraq on March 20th, 2005. Inside the vehicle were Sergeant Jonathan Kennedy, SPC, Ryan Hubbard, and SP Brandon Detman of the 1644th Transportation Company based in Rock Falls, Illinois. The soldiers were involved in a convoy transport supplies for coalition forces located at the southern east outskirts of Baghdad. The convoy was ambushed by 40 to 50 heavily armed Iraqi insurgents. And by the time the engagement was over, the vehicle had been hit 25 to 30 times on the hood, windshield doors, tires, and fire extinguisher. And Sergeant Kennedy was sitting directly behind where the rounds hit. The bulletproof glass from the windshield may have saved his life. Here, this is the Cold War Eastern Bloc equipment. Soviet Union Cold War Homeland Security. This is the Star Spangled Banner, 1814. Constitution Flag, 1789. John Paul Jones Flag, 1779. And this right here is the Grand Union Flag of 1776. If you're here, don't forget, if you go to the back, there are some military vehicles back here. And this is the address in case you're interested in knowing where it's at. I'll put it in the description as well. U.S. Army Jeep. And here's some of the military weapons. This is the Howitzer M102 105 mm. Some more military weaponry and vehicles. Now this one looks like it's been through war itself. It's all beat up and cracked. This vehicle here, when my dad was in the Army, this is the Gamma Goat. He actually drove this. All right, everybody, we have finished the film, and I hope you enjoyed the Military Museum. Remember to honor the troops who fought for your freedom. For now, this is the What's Up Dude signing off. Till next time. Please like, share, and subscribe so that I can explore new areas and go to more places in the future.